Alright, hi guys. I was just messing around in my workshop the other day, and since I'm a complete noob to this, I didn't even have the foresight to get a low temp hot glue gun to make my slugs with. So I was, messing around with things, trying to figure out how I could get a high temp glue gun to work with this, and I think I figured out a pretty ingenious way to do this that actually results in some darts that are relatively aesthetically pleasing and very easy to make. So this is just an example of a prototype dart I made a while back. As you can see, it's got a pretty finished round head. The dart's kind of smushed up because I screwed it up, but that's just that's just me screwing it up. But I'm gonna have two different ways you can make this. One's with one washer for lighter weight and for the smaller slugs, and with two washers for more weight. Really just depends on what gun you want to use it in. So the washers I'm using are 3/8 inch in diameter. I don't really think thickness matters very much, but you just use whatever washers you want, really, as long as it's less than the diameter of the foam, especially if you're using two washers. But so I'm going to start off with the single washer mechanism. As you can see, I cut out these little wooden spikes from that, and that's, don't be alarmed, mods, this isn't going to be pointing towards the front of the dart. These little spikes are just something to secure the dart head into the foam, kind of like the little pegs you see in the stock darts, except obviously these darts don't have the holes in the middle to put a peg into. So it's going to be use hot glue to secure it in finally, but just a little wooden peg for added security. So I'm just punched out a little template here a second ago. Really, like literally, I just did this a second ago. So this is really, so you just stick each one of these little things in a hole. Where's the other one? See, some of these might be too big. I'll have to substitute them. Too long. You can't be too long, otherwise it'll stick up above the hot glue. So, alright, then stick a washer through the little wooden stake and press that flat down against the surface here. What I couldn't do with the high temp glue was I was trying to make the domes, and a lot of people say tilt the dart upside down, but I can't do that because it's a high temp, and the glue will just run right off. If I wait too long, it won't work at all. So I figured out a way to just get the surface tension to do it for me. I'm going to trim this one short. Surface tension is going to make a nice dome for us without having to worry about anything getting screwed up in the process. So what we're going to do is make sure that the I forgot to do this. Make sure the washer is concave side up, because it'll help hold the glue. Doesn't really make that big of a difference, but it's just for security. It makes it a little bit easier when applying the glue. Like I said, I just punched out this template, so I haven't really used it before. So just run off there. We're gonna have to start that one all over again. Just put a new stick of glue in the hot glue gun. It's a little wasn't expecting that. Alright, while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm gonna do the other ones so I can clean that up. Yeah, don't fill them up too quickly, otherwise that's gonna happen. I'm probably making this look a little bit harder than it actually is. You just need to make sure that none of it runs off the edge of the washer is all. Because what you're doing is you're counting on surface tension to make the bubble for you. Just as drop a little water. A raindrop makes a ball as it falls towards the earth because it's the most efficient method of conserving space within the. And as you can see, the surface tension makes that a nice round shape for you. You don't have to do anything. That was close. What? What? Hold, Matthew, shoo.
Why?
Shoo! I'm doing something right now. My little brother. I don't know what he wants, but... Alright, so I need to fix this one now. Ugh. Sorry. He's probably gonna come down and interrupt me in a second again. I'll move this one over here. I don't want any of that gunk getting in the way. Almost did it again.
Chris, what color do you want to be? Chris.
Shh! No, get out of here. Get out of here.
What color?
Get out of here. Brothers. Wood pegs in a couple of these, as you can see, are made a little bit too long. It might stick up a little bit, but anyways, so that's basically how I made these first set of heads. Show you how to put them on in a second. I'm going to wait for them to dry. And in the meantime, I'm going to make another batch for the 2 washer heads. And these I don't need a template for. These are going to be glued on without a peg. And you'll see why later on as we get to the main difference. But, so these are going to be a little bit easier to do. It helps if you have a non-porous surface to do this on, but I don't at the moment, so. Looks a lot like an eye. Reminds me of the eye on a fishing lure, the stick-on eyes, and that led me to wonder if stick-on eyes might actually work as a dome head. There's an unlikely use for a fishing product. Alright, so those 3 are dry now. And these 4 over here ought to be just about dry. Take them out. And like I said, I just figured out how to do this today, so I'm still working on it. So I had a couple of these pegs stuck up out of the, it was really just this one stuck out a little bit. It's not, actually doesn't even stick out, but it's flush to the surface. I don't know if that's going to be a big deal or anything in terms of legality issues with Nerf wars, but I don't think it should be. But alright, now so to stick these in, now with the one darts you're going to have a little bit of metal exposed in the end of the rim when you push it in, but so here's what I did, is I just kind of stuck it in the middle. Getting the peg helps you get it in the middle a little bit better sometimes, and just kind of push it in, just like that, get it in place, and then pull it back out again, put a little dab of hot glue in there, and then stick it back in again. So, there's just some way I can move my phone over, but it's on this, I have it resting on top of a box here, so it's not really very flexible. So anyways, and I gotta be really careful with high temp glue, or actually, I think I put it on the wood peg actually. So, because that way you can let it cool off for a second before you stick it in there. So you can let it cool off for a second. Wait till it's almost starts turning translucent. And then just kind of stick it in there like that. And this one didn't turn out too well, just because it's I screwed up with the wood peg on this one, but the next couple ones hopefully will be a little bit better. So just so you can see, here's what the top view of the eye looks like, and from the side you can see it's got a nice round shape to it from the surface tension. And as I was mentioning earlier, there's that little bit of metal exposed right around here. And in the next one I'm going to show you, not this one, but the next one I'm going to show you how to get rid of that potentially. So tack it in there. Hot glue. And then just stick it in there. Oh, hot glued the hot glued the dart. It's hard to remember. I'll get the hang of it sometime. Like I said, I'm new at this, so. I did some range testing, and what I found out was that these, I had a few different prototype designs, some of which involving different various heads and stuff, head materials. Some were made out of rubber cone shaped things. I have a silicone one over here next to me that's still drying. But anyways, this is what I figured out how I could maybe see if I can countersink a little bit. So I'm going to use the same method when I do the dual washers in a second. So basically what you do, I already did this one, but you stick the washer in there like that. You take the hot glue gun because it's got a hot tip, right? So stick the hot tip right in the middle of the washer and push the washer into the thing, and it's going to heat up the washer. The washer is going to melt the foam, and so you leave a nice little template there. It's it works pretty well, I think, especially with the two washer methods I'm going to show you in just a second. But I think I'm just going to make this last one and then show you the double washer ones. But so it's going to look kind of like that. It's not as big of a dome as with the gravity dome darts, but you could make it that way if you. I think there's a way you could do it if you either just added on multiple layers onto the thing, or if you just so there's that. Like say stuck the wood up just a little bit above the above normal height, and then let it cone around and bond with the thing, and it'll rise to meet that. So anyways, so now for the dual So, like I said, because this is on a porous surface, they're gonna bleed through the washer in the hole there and stick to it. But it's no big deal, just pop them off. So for these ones, what you're going to do is, like I said with the last one, with a similar method with burning the foam using the washer. But first you're going to dab just a little bit of glue. Around it. How much glue, it doesn't really matter. You don't need a whole lot, but you need some. You need enough to secure it in there. Now wait for it to dry, because otherwise that's just going to deform the foam as you stick it in place. And you definitely don't want that to happen. So you can see it's kind of partway, it's soft now. Now if the power goes out, we are still in Tropical Storm Irene. We've been super lucky not to lose power here. I'm actually amazed that we haven't lost power. I'm a real weather geek and keeping on top of this thing. Anyways, so now with hot glue dried, cooled off like that, stick it in place in the end of this thing, just like that. Now take the tip of the hot glue gun, stick it in the washer, wait for it to heat up the washer, and apply some gentle downwards pressure. And allow it to melt the hot glue, and melt the foam. And just like that, and it gets embedded in the tip of the foam like that. And I think I used a little bit too much hot glue that time. I noticed it was bubbling and doing some weird stuff like that, but that shouldn't normally happen. Anyways, the whole point of doing this is so that now, this is actually the original dart that I came up with, because you can hot glue this in place using a high temp glue gun if you're using the hot glue on the metal there, because it won't melt the metal, obviously. Excuse me. So, just a little dot there, right on top of that other washer there. And just sort of push it in place like that. And you got yourself a dart. So, that's that 2-washer method there. It gives it a little bit more weight, it'd probably be more useful in a more powerful gun. And especially where accuracy is a must and range isn't as important. I'm going to try something here. I think I'm going to try making this a steeper bubble by filling this up with a second layer of glue. So that didn't really give me much of a steeper head because I ended up having to spread it around to reduce the rippling, but at least that means you can, sort of cover up if you have that little nub sticking up like that, you can just cover it up. So, I don't know, that's that. Anyways, as I was saying earlier, I came up with a few different designs of these things, and this ended up being the best, other than another design I made just using a random piece of metal I found. But I don't think that's very easily recreatable. So here are the darts, and they ended up firing just a little bit better than the stock the streamline darts. in clip systems. This is my original prototype with this design, and I had another one that was longer. I used a stock dart foam from a Whistler dart. I pulled the Whistler head off after it broke, but unfortunately these didn't fit in the clips, so I made these a little bit longer, so hopefully they would fit in the clips and work with that. It'd be alright, but so yep, I mean that's it, and you know, they get pretty good ranges. I don't know what you guys see with your Stephans, but these things work pretty well. I'm still trying to come up with a way to pad the tip, maybe with a little bit of silicone. Waiting for the silicone to dry, and this dart is obviously made a real mess with it, but we'll see. So, alright, that's all. Thanks for watching.